Hey, it's Richie here. Thanks so much for coming back to the channel. So the metaverse is a word that I heard getting thrown around a while ago, but I always thought it sounded a bit too sci-fi and just a pipe dream that was never going to happen. But after watching the recent Connect 2021 presentation, I'm now convinced it's inevitable. So just like society moved from the radio to the TV, I believe that the metaverse is the next step of the internet. So right now it seems like a bit of a novelty, but I believe within the next 5 to 10 years it's going to be a part of our everyday life for work, for gaming, for social and for entertainment. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get involved in the industry, but I've got zero programming experience and I can't draw. So the only way I can really get in is as an investor. So based on my research, I'm going to be talking to you about different ways that you can get exposure to the market, things like hardware solutions, in-app payments, and software services. Basically cover all bases. And if you feel like the metaverse is the future, but you don't want to deal with the nitty-gritty of looking into individual companies, I've got a really easy and stress-free way of investing that will cover your bases. So keep watching and I'll talk about that later in this video. So I'm going to cover 7 different ways of investing in the present and future metaverse. And if you find even one of these useful, please do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe. It's completely free, it helps me out a ton, and if you don't like my content, you can always just cancel. Please don't cancel. And if you're looking for a way to invest in one of these, then check out the link in the description. You can download one of the free apps, and if you use my link and you fund the account, you'll get a free stock worth up to £200 or $200 depending on which one you go with. And if we both cross our fingers, hopefully it'll be one of the companies I talk about today. And before I start, I just want to say I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. I'm just sharing research I've done in a topic I'm pretty excited about. So with that said, let's go. Okay, I know a lot of people have got mixed feelings about Facebook, specifically their privacy policy, which I get, but most of us use at least one of their products on a daily basis. I know a lot of people hear Facebook and they say, oh, I don't use Facebook, but they'll use WhatsApp or Instagram daily, which is the same company. And Facebook are jumping into the metaverse in a massive way. They changed the name of their parent company to Meta, and they've changed their stock ticker symbol to Mverse, which shows that they really believe in this as a future of technology. In fact, they're planning to hire 10,000 people here in the EU specifically to work on the metaverse. In my opinion, between the head start Facebook already has in terms of products they can integrate into, the relationships they have, and the general infrastructure they have by owning Oculus, which is a headset company that they bought in 2014, it's hard not to take them seriously as one of the future big players in this industry. I know everyone jokes about Mark Zuckerberg being a robot, but that's exactly who I'd bet on to make this metaverse stuff a reality. Now, the second most logical way to get exposure to the metaverse from a hardware perspective would be investing into Sony. This is the obvious one for me anyway because of their actions so far. They're going into the metaverse and the VR world in an aggressive way. For one, they're already leading the way in the gaming world with affordable headsets that are already available to buy and use with the PlayStation. But outside of this, they're actively partnering with a blockchain company called Tron or TRX to facilitate in-game payments. This is bloody huge. This will allow them to offer faster and cheaper payments, which is a win-win for the user and for the companies, which leads me very nicely to number 3. Now, I'm a big believer in cryptocurrency, both as an asset class as well as the foundation that the technology is built on. People hear cryptocurrency and just hear the currency part, and a lot of the criticism, especially for Bitcoin, will be it's never going to replace USD as the global reserve currency. But cryptocurrency, it should really be called crypto assets, is so much more than that. The underlying blockchain technology that crypto is built on will go hand in hand with the metaverse, in my opinion. And there's already endless opportunities for this, depending on how deep you want to dive. CoinMarketCap actually has a page specifically geared towards metaverse coins, which you can check out here. And many of these projects are actually live, so you can experience them immediately, such as Axie Infinity and Decentraland. Just this week, I actually picked up some Sandbox and Engine Coin, and I'm still researching more because I can see the gaming aspect of the metaverse being huge, which brings me nicely onto the next topic. Gaming is already a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that's where VR headsets are already mostly used. At least that's the only one that anyone wants to admit. Companies like Epic Games, which is the creator of Fortnite, raised $1 billion for their long-term vision of the metaverse. $1 billion. That's more than some countries' GDP. And since Epic Games is a private company, most of us haven't got the ability to invest into it. However, another game that has a metaverse-like foundation is Roblox. And back in 2020, they've already tested a live concert within the game with Lil Nas X, and it was viewed 33 million times. Which is crazy. This is what makes me think that this metaverse, even though it seems so far away, we're a lot closer to it than we think. A lot of industries are going to get disrupted by the metaverse in the future, but gaming's already there. Another great gaming play is the Unity software. Now, a couple of years ago, I created a mobile app company. This was in 2013 or so. And while I was making my basic 2D games, I remember even then, Unity was ahead of the curve in terms of ease of use and just incredible graphics. They even had this asset store where you could buy and kind of drag and drop things. It was really ahead of its time. The thing that got me really excited about Unity and the metaverse is I heard somebody describe it as the Shopify of the gaming world. The fact that it gives the opportunity for creators to build something without knowing a ton about coding makes it a really good on-ramp for creators or people with an idea to develop on the metaverse. So if the metaverse actually becomes the next future gold rush, Unity is essentially in the picks and shovels business. And they've been pretty intentional on focusing on the metaverse specifically for a few years now, so I'm really excited to see how this plays out. Okay, so earlier in this video, I promised you the easiest and least stress-free way of getting exposure to the metaverse without going through all these companies and buying individually and just having to look into them. And credit where credit's due, I heard this idea from Sam Marks, and he talked about just investing in an index fund like VGT, which is Vanguard's technology index. What this will do is give you access to a basket of stocks and you essentially own a small portion of all of them. The thing about index funds though is it's low risk, low reward, which is good and bad at the same time. The negative is it's obviously the safer option. So you wouldn't necessarily get the potential upside of investing in a company that does really well in the metaverse. However, it's also got some massive positives with it as well. Aside from the obvious benefit of low risk, you get exposure to a ton more companies. Both Google and Microsoft are doing interesting things in the metaverse, and while they didn't make my list, it could be that Microsoft are able to build upon their HoloLens headsets, which is currently used by the US Army, and just roll it out to the mass public. Or Google, who released Google Glass back in 2013, and the VR Cardboard headset a couple of years later, make a massive play both in the hardware and the software. I definitely wouldn't count either of these companies out of the race. So investing in a technology fund like this will allow you to hedge your bets a little bit, which isn't a bad idea. I think it's an ideal solution for someone who believes in the metaverse and wants to benefit from investing in it, but doesn't want to put in a bunch of time and effort looking into different companies. My personal plan is to do a combination of both. Okay, so we've already talked about the Oculus and the Sony headsets, which will no doubt play a massive role in this industry. But making the metaverse a reality that we use in our everyday life is going to be insanely graphic intensive. So a really smart play could be investing in the technology that makes these headsets and other devices possible. There's going to be a massive demand for graphic chips, and two companies that already make this possible are Qualcomm and Nvidia. So Qualcomm already has a working relationship with Apple, and they're already the current supplier for the Oculus headsets. Meanwhile, Nvidia has already announced that they've been working on the metaverse from the hardware and a software perspective in a massive way. From the hardware perspective, Nvidia is generally regarded as one of the best chip makers in the world. In fact, they are the largest semiconductor chip maker in terms of market cap. But the thing that makes Nvidia interesting to me is that they're making a big play on the software side too. Earlier this year, Nvidia released Omniverse, which their CEO described as a simulation platform that's nearly 5 years in the making, that runs physically realistic virtual worlds and connects to other digital platforms. I'll link a demo in the description so you can check it out for yourself because it's pretty cool. My seventh and final pick is a company that you might have heard of, you might not have, but you could have interacted with their software already without knowing it. Now, if you've ever been house hunting and been able to have a really cool 3D tour of a house, then chances are they use Matterport to build it out. Matterport is essentially a hardware company, but they've got a massive subscription play as well. The device scans existing buildings and turns them into digital 3D models. This allows you to walk through a building you've never been to and get a real feel for the place. And there's one thing holding an event in a virtually recreated world like Lil Nas X did, but if you wanted to hold it in a place that already exists, like Madison Square Garden, Buckingham Palace, or your local Burger King, you'll need some sort of technology to digitize this. Now, I'm sure there'll be other technologies in the future that offer this, but Matterport already has a big advantage because they're already out there and being widely used. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my 7 ways to get exposure to the metaverse. This is my opinion anyway. I'd love to hear yours in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's something I've missed or anything like that. I'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, if you made it this far, please use the links in the description, grab a free stock for yourself. We both get free stock and I really appreciate that. And if you found this video useful, you want more videos like this or anything like that, just leave a comment, let me know. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel because that tells the YouTube algorithm that this is a useful video and it will share it, which helps me out. And that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.